Hey, whoa, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, scoops.com, and brassringmedia.com. Check it out. Hey, check this out. Holy smokes. Look at the farmer's tan I got going on. That's right. I was at the Pittsburgh Pirates game, and who didn't wear sunscreen? This guy. And I clearly wore a t shirt. I also did not wear this Pirates hat, as a matter of fact. I wore a headband. And so, are you ready for this big reveal? Look at what I did to my head. You see it? Look at I wore a headband completely. I got burnt like crazy. I look like a Neapolitan ice cream, whatever it is. Look at that thing. I'm just nuts. All right. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. I'm feeling the effects of the sunburn, by the way. It's quite painful. Let's say hi, though. Triple E says, what's up? When's the next RVD episode? Tonight. It is more than likely at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. RVDTV.com. Me and RVD will probably go live tonight. Tonight, 9:15.com Eastern Standard Time. Dre Owen says, hello, R&I. Dynamite was decent. Kyle Fletcher is the next big heel. I like Kyle Fletcher. We'll talk about him a little bit more in depth as the show progresses. Devin Dowling says, can't Cubbies smacked y'all yesterday? Yes, they did. They did. They beat us big time. Cubs started off with 4 runs right off the bat, like in the first inning. Pirates fired right back with their own set of 4 runs. So really interesting beginning of the game. Then it was just scoreless for a while, and then the Cubs ran away with it at the end, like 8-4. I had great seats though. I hung out with the Pirate Parrot, one of the pierogies. Good times. It was a lot of fun. A couple of friends from my hometown of Ridgeway, PA. Boom, 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 right here. Ridgeway basketball. That's my old basketball tee. Jeff Henninger says, despite all of Cope's rage, he's still teaming with Cage. I like the reference. We did talk about Billy yesterday, on Tuesday. So, yes, I like the reference. JB, thanks for joining us. Morning, guys. Did anyone else Max's stream end early? Constant issues last night. Shaking my head. Guys, give feedback. I literally just watched the show on my phone right now. So, I don't know. If somebody has some input on that, let me know about it. So speaking of Dynamite, maybe I can ask Tony Khan directly today. I will be on the conference call later today with AEW President Tony Khan as he previews All Out going on in Toronto here. So if you guys have some questions, I have one set in mind. It's kind of like an intricate question in certain ways. I kind of want to frame it in the aspect like that WWE is making a lot of changes, obviously, when it comes to ticket pricing, live events, and their price realm. AEW, when it first started off, was very fan friendly and had the intimacy, reasonable prices, and that connection with fans and the wrestlers themselves, and a lot of things going on. With the pivots that WWE is making, is AEW looking to do their own thing in a certain way. I'm kind of trying to frame it in the right fashion. But if you guys have other questions you'd like me to ask, pop them in there. Speaking of media calls, I was on the media call yesterday with ESPN and WWE. This was at 10 a.m., so right before I left for the Pirates game. I hopped on that. And, man, got to commend ESPN for having a great conference call. Like Matt Kinney and JT Lasker were the two ESPN executives that fielded the questions, and they did not shy away from anything. I think they gave as honest answers as they possibly could when it came to some things. And Matt Kenny, I believe, is the content acquisitioner. So he'll it's not his proper title, but he's the vice president of media acquisitions and stuff like that. So he gave his insight, and then JT Lasker is the vice president of ESPN Plus, so the app itself, the senior vice president. So and the neat thing about these, like usually when you do the wrestling press conferences, you get one question. You don't get a follow up. You don't get anything else. You just ask straight out. Fair enough, but ESPN allowed follow ups, and so the neat thing about it is I asked a question. I asked, hey, what is the plan for the WWE library? like does the ESPN? I didn't ask him what the plan is. I asked if they had an interest in acquiring the WWE library because of all the content. Uh, Big complaints about since uh, the network has been in the United States is that the content isn't as accessible. It's really just a pain in the butt to get through on Peacock and watch it and all that kind of stuff. Whereas when it was on the network, it was really much more streamlined, fan friendly, user friendly. So I asked, are there plans potentially to acquire the WD library? Um, I was answered with currently that's like what they're really focused on is the PLE deal that they currently have, and that is going to be the focus, and they're going to accrue their own special library of content on ESPN. So it's not in the agenda at this moment in time, but who knows? Because that library will end at the end of the year with their deal with Peacock. So could be open for talk later on. We'll have to see. So my quick follow up was, do you plan to have any live studio shows on ESPN, like a kid to NFL Live or Baseball Tonight? And they said they didn't give anything in regards to that, but they did happen to say that they're excited to have Sports Center live on set when it comes to WrestlePalooza this weekend. So those were the questions I asked. And on top of it, there were some other questions, good questions that were asked. Sean Ross Sapp started off the whole thing asking what it was. It was a good question he asked. I'm going to remember it after the fact, but it was good lead off. Oh, competitive. The fact that W Palooza was going up against. He didn't say AEW outright, but he said like having competition that weekend and counter program basically said. And they say that's just kind of the name of the business. They embrace that kind of thing, but it's they were really driven about getting something out and on the air for WWE and ESPN. So it just so happens to be that way. They also talked about how you got to worry about college football in the same line, and ESPN is featuring all that too. So lots of competition going on. So they're open for that. Brock Lesnar was asked about. Say that's a WWE thing more so than ESPN thing that considered like regarding his legal stuff with the Janelle Grant case and so on and so forth. I'm trying to think what else was. My former editor Bill Pritchard asked two good questions. I'm trying to think what they are. They're good ones, so just remember that. But if you do, the transcripts available and everything like that. Dre Owens asked TK, can ROH go on Max? I think that's been a common question typically asked from him. So it's just like, it's always like part of the course. Oh, we're always interested in having ROH on something special and making a thing. And then, it's just like, okay, we've been talking about that for months on end, years on end at this juncture. So what is next? Steven Chambers, same thing. Like, it's just like, hey, what's the status with ROH? It's almost like every conference question is what gets asked. Like some point or another, the ROH question usually gets asked about what's the deal with that. Did you ask if they was mad at Stephanie McMahon for saying people that they could use it? No, I didn't ask that. Triple E. Yeah, no, that's just like what kind of. I mean, I guess that would kind of been a fair question and stuff like that. But yeah, that would have just been to stir the pot. Hey, were you guys pissed? What do you think about that? Oh man, this is an off-topic question. Okay, I'll address this. Why not? Devin Dowling, what do you think about Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled now after Stephen Colbert? So, when politics gets involved, it's never a good thing. And I think the aspect of what Jimmy Kimmel said, in my opinion, was not that bad. I don't think he was. If you're not familiar, there's the issue with obviously the horrible thing that happened with Charlie Kirk, him being, and so Kimmel, there was a joke made surrounding that aspect of it all, but I thought what Kimmel said was not that out of bounds, to be honest. I mean, I'm never a fan. But anyways, obviously Kimmel gets suspended for indefinitely, could be forever from how it sounds. I don't know. But I do think, and this ties into wrestling too, tying politics in with comedy is never good. Same it goes with wrestling. So I have no political affiliation. I don't choose sides. I disagree with both in many aspects of things. And yes, so I do not. I don't like either party, basically, to be honest. But do think do think it's not behooving to a night show, a Tonight Show, whether that's Jimmy Kimmel or whether it's Stephen Colbert or you name it, to choose a political side because you're splitting half your audience. Doesn't matter. The goal is to get viewers, is to make money, and to bring people entertainment, create an escape for these people. Country's very divided right now in so many aspects. So I don't think what Kimmel or what Colbert were necessarily doing was very. They're not my type of comedy. I was not entertained by them. How Kimmel lost out on how this all happened seems very unfair and seems like it was very uh not it seemed like it was forced almost. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem natural. Like it's one thing if the ratings aren't working and you're canceling Jimmy Kimmel because of that. Didn't really seem like this was the case. It seemed more heavy-handed in certain ways. Politics is always bad to mix in with wrestling, like this show, or in comedy. I think a comedian, obviously can make political jokes, and I think that's super duper fair. But to choose a side and divide half your audience down the middle, don't think it's necessarily the best thing for an entertainment product. There it is, coming from uh, a dirt sheet writer. What do you think of that? But yeah, I don't like seeing anything where it's like censorship or to that effect and all that aspect going on. So there we go. Hopefully that makes sense. Devin Dowling on ESPN last night during baseball, they had a WrestlePalooza banner in the bottom right corner of the screen. Yeah, they've been plugging it pretty good. It's kind of funny to see the commentators try to get into the WWE ecoscape of things, like hey, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and them kind of tiptoeing around some of the aspects that they might not necessarily know. I kind of enjoyed that. Did you ask why one dude couldn't even bother to learn how to promote? Oh, was that Fowler from ESPN? I heard about that. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time. I look, when you're going into the foreign land of things, yeah, you're not gonna hit all the right names. I mean, I understand Chris Fowler. That's his name, Chris Fowler. Let's see. Yeah, he just got suspended, but it sounds like he's canceled. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. But all right. All right. Well, let's talk about some wrestling here. If you guys have other questions for Tony Khan, let me know what it is in the chat. Um, but let's talk about Dynamite. The Not the best go home show. I don't think. We had the contract signing, and a lot of that content was the same thing we heard last week from Hangman Page. Like, hey, Kyle Fletcher, I believe in you, basically, but I want to fight you one on one. You have to prove yourself, blah, 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 blah. It was really much the same stuff. The only added aspect was this contract signing moment and the stipulation where, like, Fletcher can't have anybody at ringside with him. So I think cool exchange. Fletcher, I think, is good on the mic, but I think he'd be better. I think has the potential to be better. So this ties into a couple things. Blue Meanie actually sent me this video of, like, wrestling talent being backstage at AEW and being interviewed by the Philadelphia Inquirer, as a matter of fact. And it's just like these really intimate kind of things, like what do they like about Philadelphia? What's some of their favorite restaurants they stopped at? Pretty fluff stuff, basically, but fun, entertaining stuff. So you get interviews from Fletcher, you get interviews from Wheeler, Utah. Trying to think who else was on there. Meanie showed up on one of the things too. And there's a couple other ones as well. Oh, Darby Allin was on there as well. Well, I did take note of how Wheeler, Utah, and I know I'm saying it wrong. Utah? Yeah, Wheeler, Utah. And Fletcher handled themselves. Man, Wheeler, Utah has great babyface potential. Like, he's good. He's funny. if you can somehow exploit that and put that on television, I think there's more to come from Wheeler, Utah, and where Utah and Utah. I think so. I think they should turn him babyface, and Fletcher is very personable, and so like I see a lot of babyface potential in him. I would, if I were Fletcher, I would embrace more of who he is like that and try to channel that into a heel persona instead of like he's kind of hitting the paint by numbers heel stuff right now. It's not bad, but I think there's some more potential for it to be better even at this point in time. My cat just made a funny noise. He's sleeping. Um, Boy, I want to ask him about adding less titles, Stephen Chambers. Ask TK about adding more titles, possibly women's tag titles. He gets asked that too, Stephen Chambers, to be honest. He was asked that like either last conference call or the call before that. He didn't rule it out. He was intrigued by the idea, but he didn't really give any sort of answer to it too. Um, um, Question for TK: is there any interest in doing a 2-night pay-per-view with All In, All Out, or Wrestle Dream? Interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty decent question. That ain't bad. I'm assuming somebody is going to get to it before me, but I'm going to ask about him. Like something else I would ask about was him maybe potentially putting up a show up against WrestleMania 27, uh, or not 27, WrestleMania 43 in 2027 with Saudi Arabia. Gosh, I don't want to ask anything about Continental Classics, tournaments, nothing like that because I don't want to see them. I don't. I love tournaments. I love the King of the Ring. I loved it, but I love that it was only one tournament that you had to worry about. There's too many tournaments now. It's so much. Let's carry on regarding the show, the program that we were was on last night. That was AEW down. I'm also thinking about asking about Wardlow, the status of Wardlow. Just because he's hurt, we haven't heard anything. So maybe I might ask about that. I don't know how much he would be able to divulge, or he would divulge. To be honest, it's the thing. It's like doing these calls with Tony Khan. You kind of get a gauge for what his response might be, or you try to read of how his response might be, and then you kind of go and I try to navigate it like that. So hopefully I can get an answer out of him. Sometimes it's just I ask a question and it just doesn't get answered. I not faulting Tony, but it's because you're trying to protect the company and you're trying to wade the waters of what you're doing. But like it's like, ooh, what kind of strategy can I go with to try to get an answer out of him of this particular question? So bear with me here while I am trying to find that is old. Looking at the more of the results page. What was I going to say to you? Here we go. Thank you to Sports Illustrated and Brass Ring coworker Zach Cadorn for writing this up. Here we go. Let's get down to business here. We had John Moxley and Roderick Strong. I think this is fine to do. You haven't really done anything with Roderick Strong or the Paragon. Adam Cole's been injured, so I think it's a good, fair showcase to have for Moxley build up to him and Darby, the coffin match, which I like. I like the coffin match. I think this is a good, hopefully blow off. I don't know in regards to what they're doing. I just want, I mean, from how it seems now with Garcia being in the mix of the Death Riders, this Death Riders thing's not going away, unfortunately. And that's what I want to have happen. I just want to be over, done with everything. And so I don't think we're getting that. But yeah, I think this is a fair match to have on your show to open it. Moxley gets the win here. And yeah, I think it was good. Trying to see what else we got going on here. Up next, we had a little segment with MJF arguing about Tony Khan, and not liking what he's doing. So just creating a little bit more intrigue for that. We have Bobby Lashley defeating Toa Liona via submission. He passed out, but I like this match. I like it. It's a good showcase. I don't think it benefits either guy. Bobby Lashley should just be dominant. Bobby Lashley should just MDK somebody, and it shouldn't have been Toa Liona. It just feels like fodder. This is an issue that Tony Khan runs into, is making these opponents fodder for certain wrestlers. And Not only that, but he was credible fodder. He fought back Bobby. He gave Bobby Lashley a run for his money. I think a very, very key aspect to Bobby Lashley still is to make him a world beater. Nobody can stop Bobby Lashley. So you should have just made this an enhancement match, not include Toa Leone out of it, because you have him in the holster for later on. Then. I think there's more of a ceiling too for the Gates of Agony. So to have him job out like that to Bobby Lashley does not benefit him. And by how long this match took place, it does not benefit Bobby Lashley. That is my opinion on that. And I feel convicted to say that. We had Cope and Christian in a segment here with the FTR. I enjoyed this. I think Dax. Don't know how I necessarily feel about him referencing, talent from the other company. Yeah, obviously everybody's aware of it. Wrestling's, people are, maybe not though, because you know what? So it's like, you look at what happened in NXT Homecoming. I didn't watch NXT Homecoming. I'm being honest. I didn't watch it. I saw little clips of it online. What did I see? Bobby Roode has a backstage segment, and they do that thing where they walk in to the set and the screen, and they wait for the applause. Absolutely nothing. It was so awkward. So awkward. The fact that the Capitol Wrestling Center, or whatever it's called down in NXT, did not know who Bobby Roode was mind blowing, upsetting, sobering, and on top of it too, unfair to Bobby. Like, man, like he was a former NXT champion. He was great in TNA, amazing in TNA, and it's just like, ugh. I just think some due diligence could have been done a little bit better. Like, I'm not ever really an advocate for plugging crowd noise in, but that's a time I would have done it. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But from what I was gathering, reading on social media, what NXT's doing is almost like a WCW WWE invasion angle, which I'm not against when it comes to NXT and TNA. So if we're getting a whole mixture of that where it's kind of shifting the landscape, I'm not against that. But this segment I wasn't against either. FTR and Christian Cage and Copeland, I thought was fun. A lot of just fines going around and don't lay your hands on me. It's a lot of the same stuff though. So because you couldn't get that in Fletcher and Hangman, and you're not getting that here. Makes sense because you're building for the pay-per-view. But I mean, there's other ways to cook a chicken or whatever the hell that term is. There's other ways to make a burger. I don't know what the term is, but to pluck the turkey. I don't know. But fine segment. I thought it was all right. Okay, yes, Young Bucks defeated Bang Bang Gang and advanced to the Fatal 4-Way ladder match at All Out for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Look, I mean, Robert does not like the Young Bucks. I love the Young Bucks. I think the Young Bucks are fantastic. I think what they do, can kind of be, somewhat counterproductive at points, but ultimately, though, too, what they do is very entertaining. And when you just focus what they do in the ring, all the high flying and the athleticism and the show and stuff like that they're known for, they make it make sense. Like so many wrestlers and talents today, they don't make it make sense. There was a lot of moments here where the Bucks make a concerted effort to make everything make sense. I will say there was one moment in the match where it was like they were doing that rolling back thing. Like it was like Juice got pushed by Austin Gunn or vice versa. I can't remember. Somebody was making the pin attempt where it was Juice and Matt going at it on the mat. And then there was a moment where Austin literally could have broke up the pin. And he just waited. Austin just waited for the sequence to finish where somebody would kick out. So that disconnected me out of it a little bit. But ultimately, I love the Young Bucks. I think they're great. And them being in their tag division is something really big. And I think that's something that Tony Khan and AEW really has to highlight more is having the Young Bucks together. And this is fun what they're doing, like them not having money, them being disrespected, now them having money and going all frivolous with it. I like the Young Bucks a lot. How do you guys feel about it? Do you feel more in the lines of I don't like you're sick of the Young Bucks, or do you like the Young Bucks? Uh, Devin says he loves the Young Bucks, has for years. Yeah. What's the term? Other ways to cook the chicken. I don't know what it is. What's the term? There's other ways to mow the lawn, to walk the dog. What is it? I can't remember. See, yeah, watch Being the Elite. I haven't even watched it. I'm sure I would. They're fun. Like I liked Being the Elite when it was originally on, and it added so many layers to what you were doing on the show too. Yeah, I like it. Maybe that's a question I'll ask Tony Khan. I'm intrigued by that. All right. Let's carry on here. We also had a segment with timeless Tony Storm and Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter. So we had that. Nothing really to say about that. And then nothing. What a weird main event. Thekla defeated Queen Amanada in a no holds barred match. That was the main event. That closed the show. No offense to them, but I love Thekla. I love Queen Amanada. Where's the build been for any of this? Yeah, I just don't get it. Oh, I guess there was one more match. Did I miss it? Wait, I must have missed it maybe. Hold on. You guys might be right here. Yeah, look at that. Did I miss a good chunk of this? What is going on here? There was more matches. So let me look here. I'm wrong about the main event. My program ended early. What the heck? Okay, so that wasn't the main event. I take back what I just said. Although we didn't have much of a main, unless this was on a different program. But we had Jet Speed defeat Killswitch and Kip Sapien in the Fatal 4-Way, so they advance. We have Rio defeat Robin Renegade, and then Hechicero versus Josh Alexander defeat Top Flight to advance. Apparently that happened. Apparently that was not on my show. What happened? Can somebody help me here? Oh, it was Collision. If it happens on Collision, does it really happen? I guess that answers my question. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, hey, that makes more sense for Collision. What a weird main event for Dynamite. So I take. Never mind. I take back what I took back and put it back, and I say, what a weird main event that was for Dynamite. Women's 4-Way going to be great. Stephen Chambers is looking forward to it. Yeah, I hope they do something well. I hope they change the titles. I hope Tony Storm, she can stand on her own. Give somebody else this chance to have the title and make it mean something more again. Like, not that Tony Storm isn't adding credibility to it by any sort of imagination, but just give another star a chance is what I'm saying. Tony Storm, you've established. She's there. She's your top dog in the women's division, along with Mercedes Moné. Well, this should be a little bit more Mercedes Moné, but that's just another outside thing. There's many ways. There's different ways. I'm trying to cook the. I don't know. Oh, it switched from Dynamite to Collision at 10 p.m., but it continued like nothing. Okay, so that's the issue. I mean, if you're putting it on Max, which is how I watch it, which is how your fans watch it, and the show just ends like that, I don't know. I don't know if that's a way to handle things. I don't know if that's a way to handle things. Is Statlander? Could you put there hasn't been build for Statlander. There hasn't been build for anybody in the women's division, if we're being honest. There really hasn't. You get Tony Storm, you got Mercedes Moné, then you have everybody else. That's how it all feels right now. Nobody's being built in the right manner to be the next person to unseat Mercedes Moné or Tony Storm. So I don't know. I just find it's just frustrating. There's so much stuff that AEW can do. Now is the chance for them to strike. If you're looking at where WWE is venturing into, AEW's got to venture the other way. So, trying to think how to word that question, though, to Tony Khan. because I think I want to get a good answer out of him in regards to maybe, hey, what are you doing different? Are you taking note of what WE's doing? What are you going to try to do different? If so, what are you going to try to do different? Ooh, there it is. What have you taken note of what WE is doing? And if so, what are you going to do different? All right, maybe I can do something like that. Does that sound like a good question? Does that sound like a good question? I tell you what, you shouldn't question is getting a pair of your perfect jeans. That's right. My goodness, I can always speak highly perfect jeans. You know why? Because they're legitimately my favorite pair of jeans I own. As a matter of fact, I wore them to the Pirates game yesterday, and I felt great going to the Pirates game, and comfortable, everything to that effect. My mistake, boom, being right in the sun, being right in the sun. Had a sleeve shirt on, as you can tell. Had a headband on, as you can tell. And then I had my pair of perfect jeans on. Well, I tell you what, the jeans felt great, but I was drenched in sweat. I was soaked crazy. It felt like somebody dumped a bucket of water down my back. And it was unbelievably crazy. I was right by the Pirates dugout. And man, I was really bummed because I like sweated up in my pair of perfect jeans and I love wearing my pair of perfect jeans. And so now I got to wash them again because it was just crazy that the heat was just amazing out there. Like for mid September, it felt like it was the dog days of summer. And I kind of guess it kind of is still technically summer. So like to each his own there. But I mean, you will be as disappointed as I would have been if you knew you sweated up your pair of perfect jeans like I did because I wanted to wear them moving forward throughout the week, and now I have to wash them again because I sweated so freaking much. But yeah, it is finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off their first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use code RVD15 at checkout. That's 15%. Rumor 15 at checkout. Sorry. Rumor 15. RVD is my other show. Rumor 15 at checkout. That's 15% off new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code RUMOR15 after you purchase the last few. Where you heard about them, please support our show and tell them that Rumor and Innuendo sent you. F your khakis and get the perfect jean. Rumor 15, everybody. Let me see here. Gen V is trying to help me out. There's more than one way to. You wouldn't like the rest of the sentence. Stay with the cooking. Oh, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Yes, she's right. I wouldn't like that reference. But thank you, Jennifer V, whoever you may be. Yes, it's more than one way to skin a cat. That's what it is. Thank you. TK, Triple E, ask if you will ever do a brand split with Dynamite and Collision and do the one thing W won't do and stick to that draft. That ain't a bad one, Triple E. That ain't a bad one. Ask TK about possibly doing once a year women's card highlighting the division. That ain't bad either, Stephen Chambers. Anyone else get blinded when Dom takes off his hat? Just kidding. Not this time around. You just get like red eye or something. Look at that thing. I guess you kind of get by the headband area. Dre Owen says TK needs to be like Bischoff in early WCW. Make a list of what WWE does and then do some things differently. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that question, as a matter of fact. Dre Owens has helped solidifying it for me. But hey, we can solidify the end of the wrestling week here tomorrow when I preview WrestlePalooza, when I preview AEW All Out, and send you guys home with some thoughts. How about that? Maybe I'll have a guest on. I was going to have Vinny Pacifico here today, but he had to postpone, so he'll be hopefully joining us next week. Vinny Pacifico will be. But maybe I can rope in a talent to join me tomorrow for a very special Friday episode here of Rumor and Innuendo. You can check us out every Monday through Friday here on Rumor and Innuendo YouTube channel, at the Ad Free Shows YouTube channel, at the Oh You Didn't Know YouTube channel, and on the WWE Creative _ish X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, and at the SE Scoops X account. So I thank you all for joining me today. Thank you all for bringing sunshine to me, even though I got too much of it yesterday. And hey, I'll see you Friday or tonight at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on rvdtv.com. Join us, say hi, and I'll see you next time here on Rumor and Innuendo. Best of luck in your future endeavors, and put on some sunscreen, everybody. Learn. I'm a caution.